Howdy, howdy, gamers. The ESO 10-year anniversary is finally upon us. We've waited 10 years for this moment. And let me tell you, when I say Zos is cooking, they've been cooking. I don't know what chef let them in that kitchen. However, they're taking advantage of that, and there's some really good dishes coming out of there. They recently invited me to an early viewing of their newest and recently revealed expansion, The Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road. And my excitement is certainly immeasurable, especially as a player who has about 9 of those 10 years under her belt. I'm very excited. So let's kind of go over this in the typical Nissa fashion that you guys have come to expect and enjoy. And to begin, there's a very vicious, glaring elephant in the room, the Necrom ending. If you haven't beaten Necrom, please skip to the timestamp about right over here. Okay? I highly recommend it. It's a phenomenal ending. So, Necrom had a wild ending. We learned that there was a secret, hidden, and downright gorgeous Daedric prince, Ophelia. She is practically the antithesis to however Hermaeus Mora is, where he is cosmic horror to a very extreme and also very cool degree, I might add. I love Hermaeus Mora. She's all about color. She's very colorful. She's very crystal-oriented. She's kind of reminiscent of a stained glass. If you've seen one, you've seen one. The very pretty, very colorful, vibrant glass pieces. And personally, she makes me think of our good pal, Noah, from Infinite Archives. Our good pal. So, you may be wondering, Nissa, where are we going in this expansion? Well, I have good news for you. While we may have ventured across all of Tamriel to a very high degree, not everywhere, but we have gone pretty far. We've gone to several different planes, we've been to the Deadlands, there's Fargrave, wherever that is. We're returning home. At least if you're an avid Oblivion player. Or if you know anything about Oblivion. Because we're heading to the Westworld. Skingrad is our major city this expansion. And let me tell you, it's about to get a little wild over there. Because when we get there, everything's already thrown into disarray. Ophelia is broken out of her prison. She's wandering around. But that's where the real interesting part comes in. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know her powers. She doesn't know how she broke free. She just is wandering around. She has all of these wondrous and magical things happening to her, and she has no idea why. She just thinks it's cool. Which, honestly, to be fair, it is kind of cool. And I think that's a really neat sort of pivotal plot point that I am very excited to see them touch up on. I want to see how they handle the fact that there's this being of chaos, for the most part, just wandering around amnestic. And let's move on to the real nitty-gritty. As per the usual, at least so far, for ESO expansions, there's a new trial. Or, if you don't play ESO and you're just trying to get into it, it's a 12-man raid. It is called the Lucent Citadel, and honestly, based off the name alone, I'm excited. It sounds like it's going to be incredibly gorgeous, and I cannot wait. I will be playing that as soon as I possibly can. Companions have been ditched this expansion, however. As much as I love them, and I adore them. Their stories are phenomenal, fantastic. It's great to have a little traveling buddy. I feel like with our biggest point, kind of coming up here soon, I think it's great. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to kind of remove them from this expansion, this patch, and shift them on over. Because that is the other good news, is that while we aren't getting them this expansion, they will come in a later patch, so don't worry about that. And the other thing that has not really been mentioned a whole lot, at least from, what I've experienced, is antiquities. And while they haven't been, the general baseline is antiquities has been in the game since Greymore. I don't think that they'll be going anywhere anytime soon, and I'm sure that they're going to make a grand return as well in Gold Road, as that system is very highly coveted and highly loved. I like my little dirt game. And the final addition, and point to touch up on, is, in my opinion, one of the biggest additions they have introduced to ESO since jewelry crafting. It's called scribing. You may be thinking, Nissa, what do scribs have to do with anything here? And I have to say, literally nothing. There is literally nothing to do with scripts here. I just think the word looks like the word script. And I also want to grab both of them with this rampant urge and desire to wrap my little grubby fingers around them. Scribing is pretty much what you can consider a prequel, a precursor to what we know as spellcrafting. It allows you to customize a skill from one of the skill lines that has been designated. These skill lines are the world skill lines, such as Mage's Guild, Fighter's Guild, PvP skill lines, and even Soul Magic are getting their own little customizable skill. So that's going to be really nice. I think my biggest point on this is it's good to have something that doesn't require other things. So while it does require the expansion to do, you don't have to rely on anything else aside from like base game skills. To explain the core of it as much as I possibly can, at least, there's grimoires, right? That's the first step. That is the base level of the skill. That is the heart, the core, the soul. This cool backflip right here, for example, is a grimoire. There's also scripts. Your grimoire has script slots, 3 of them. Now what does that mean for you? Well, you can change the characteristics of your skill as a whole. Want to make that sick vault right there that I just showed off, the Helio? Well, you can. And then there's inks. Inks are pretty much just the currency. Whenever you go to change the skills around, you spend ink. Makes sense. Makes sense. But it also does not stop at scribing, because alongside scribing, we have styling. Styling is very interesting to me, personally, because it opens up an incredible amount of fashion potential. And as you know, with MMOs and harder games in general, stuff like that, fashion is the true end game. If you don't look good, you can't do good. And guess what styling lets you do? It lets you look really good, because it lets you change the color of abilities. All the visual effects, it lets you change that. So, you want your funny little Arcanist disc to be purple? Well, I have great news for you. You can do that. Eat your heart out, I guess. There will be styles that are all unlocked and earned in game, so get out there, you cute little fashionista you, and unlock some styles. This year's only started, and it's already looking like we're eating well. The 10th anniversary of ESO is going to be a fantastic and phenomenal one, I feel, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Between the new features, the story, and X-Pack as a whole, to even the 3 major, massive quarter updates that we haven't even really seen. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a really fun time, especially if you are an ESO player or somebody who's looking to pick up maybe the expansion, or even just start playing. I think it's going to be a great year for you. You bet you can catch me streaming everything over on my Twitch channel, which will both be in the description and on screen right here. We have lots of fun over there, and I do pretty much everything in the game, from raids to dungeons, to even just casual content and just hanging out. So if you're interested in Gold Road content or ESO content as a whole, please stop on by. We would love to have you.